I wonder sometimes if making that list doesn't put our gratitude into shiny object syndrome and actually create within us the need to find more things to sustain gratitude. Hello, friends. This is Matthew Pilling, Chief Overthinker with a Pilling Perspective. Welcome to video 2 within our gratitude series. In the first video, I talked a little bit about the idea of depth of gratitude versus width of gratitude. And I wanted to just define that a little bit more here and talk about why it's important. I don't know what gratitude practices you have experienced in your life or not. I hope all of them have had a positive effect for you. And I actually believe they probably have had a positive effect, because anytime we expose ourselves to the energy of gratitude or put ourselves in that frequency, that energy, it's going to have a positive effect, inevitably. But what I talk about in the idea of width of gratitude versus depth of gratitude, I often look at the idea of a lot of gratitude journaling, especially, where we will list all of the things that we're grateful for. And that does get us into a mode of gratitude. And like I said in the last video, as we add to the pile, the mass of our gratitude is bound to have an effect on us. But I wonder sometimes if making that list doesn't put our gratitude into shiny object syndrome and actually create within us the need to find more things to sustain gratitude. And I have to say this cautiously because I'm not trying to poo-poo that practice. I do think that it has done wonders for me, for others I know, but I also think that if we are trying to deepen our well of gratitude, but instead of deepening it to the point of finding the water, which is the whole purpose of the well in the first place, we just keep digging smaller holes, even though the energy of the pursuit is going to possibly have an effect on us, the fruition of the pursuit will never happen. And yes, we should enjoy the journey, but in some things, we need to get to the end goal as well. As I have worked with people on this concept, as I have helped people change their mentality from just being let's build width to also being let's take the key things within that width and build depth with them, as their root system starts to anchor them, all of a sudden they find power within gratitude that they weren't finding before. They find greater fulfillment in gratitude. And especially as we work on deepening it, it becomes less of a me-driven thing. I talked in the last video about the idea of our brain, because we don't know how to be effectively really good at being grateful. It relegates the task of being grateful to a checkbox somewhere in our subconscious. Did I say thank you? Did I not? And if we can move it beyond that, if we can take it out of am I a grateful person and move the energy that we're putting into gratitude away from trying to convince ourselves and convince other people that we are a grateful person, and instead move that energy into helping them feel what we actually value in them because of what we're thanking them for, it will do wonders on our relationships with people. It will do wonders on our internal monologue about ourselves and about other people. The effects that it has are staggering. But it only happens if we start thinking a little bit differently. And I'm not going to get in this video into all of how to go from width to depth. I hope as you've listened to what I've said so far that you've already had some ideas. I will get into saying this matters most in the things that matter most to us. If I spend all of my energy trying to be super grateful for every single thing though I don't think that would necessarily be a horrible pursuit. It may not bring the impact that we think it will. If I spend a lot of time reconsidering how I thank the person at the store who's helping me at the checkout stand, or the person in the restaurant who served me my food, they are people, and yes, I should put the proper energy into them. And what I've said in the last video, I should feel the feeling before I give it. It shouldn't just be a knee-jerk reaction. But if I spend time trying to make every single time I thank someone the level that I'm talking about here, it would feel monumental, I think. It would be burdensome almost. But based on the Buddhist idea that you are in one thing what you are in all things, or you are in all things what you are in one thing, if we can figure out with the things that are most important to us, especially our relationships and our internal sense of self, if we can figure out how to deepen our gratitude in those scenarios, it will impact those key relationships in a way that changes them, which in turn also changes us. And maybe it's better to say it the other way. It changes us, which then obviously affects the relationship. And that, by being changed, will affect the thanks that we give at the checkout and in the restaurant and in all of the scenarios in our lives. But if we just spend time on some of those lesser transactional thank yous, we may still be missing the mark in the ones that are going to have the biggest impact for us. So like I said, we won't get completely into how to do all of this in just this video. Some of the other videos, we will discuss some ideas that help with that. And then, like I said, in my book, I get really into it, and that is on its way. But I hope just thinking about the difference between depth of gratitude and width of gratitude already has your wheels turning in a way that makes a difference for you. Thank you for joining us today. As always, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for being here.